Did you know that Scratch, a platform with over 100 million current users, started out as just a simple educational tool by the MIT Media Lab in 2007? Well, with Scratch nearing its 20th birthday, what better way to review Scratch's progress than to see a book published about Scratch over 10 years ago?
As kids are creating projects like this, they're learning to code, but even more importantly, they're coding to learn.
How does it work?
You have to use the arrow keys to move the recycling bin, and you have to dip the paper and the glass slides.
Because as they learn to code, it enables them to learn many other things, opens up many new opportunities for learning.
Sam's Teach Yourself Scratch 2.0 in 24 Hours is a book that, much like what it says on the tin, aims to teach educators all about Scratch 2.0 in 24 lessons, each taking about an hour to complete. Published in 2014, the wealth of tutorials about Scratch Online have not yet taken off, and educator specifics such as how to navigate to all of the pages and use some of the special blocks and features, and much more, were even harder to come by, so this definitely would have been a welcomed resource. Its very simple vocabulary along with its hands-on approach for learning also makes it quite suitable even for children. The public reception of the book seems quite positive. Sources like Amazon and Goodreads generally give it a good review.
I purchased this to teach my teenage nephew about programming, and I'm fairly impressed with it versus a competing book I bought, geared for teens.
Having explored the reception of this book, let's delve deeper into the structure of each hour. Each section will give you a quick overview about what you will be learning in there. For example, Hour 5, using looks blocks, will tell you everything you will learn after completing this hour, such as getting to know the looks blocks, interacting with the player, and getting sprays to talk to each other. Next, they'll show you pictures and descriptions of relevant blocks. For example, here, it'll show you all of the looks blocks involved. Then, it'll go into step-by-step instructions about how you can actually start using them. Generally speaking, you'll first follow exactly what they're doing, but after a bit, you can venture into the Try It Yourself section. Here, it'll give you a quick overview of what you should be able to do, and then show you the script and break it down step by step. This way, not only are you just reading, you're actually doing something, which will further enforce the memory in your brain. Again, this basic structure is repeated, so this section, labeled Interacting with the Player, is all about that, and which is followed by another Try It Yourself area. Each section ends with a little summary. Here, it'll show you exactly what you should know after completing this hour. And after that, you can do a little quiz, which are just very basic multiple choice questions with answers labeled and explained at the end. And if you're really going strong, there's even a challenge at the end. Here, it'll give you a little description of what your product should be able to do, and then you can do it yourself. Now this step is a lot less guided, and you'll have to figure it out on your own, but if you've reviewed everything in this section, you should be absolutely fine. One of the things that stood out most to me after reading this book was just how similar Scratch a decade ago is to the modern platform we know today. Of course, there are a lot of changes, like the Explore page and the new aesthetics, but some pages like the My Stuff page is still identical over 10 years later. And in fact, the code that is featured in this book is still quite similar, if not identical to modern Scratch code. And many of the features that we know and love were actually first introduced in Scratch 2.0. Tools like the backpack, sprite cloning, and functions known as MyBlocks too. And even though Scratch 3.0 released on January 2nd, 2019 had many aesthetic and functional changes, the central elements of creating, remixing, and sharing have remained the same. In general, I think this book does a fantastic job at covering the basics of not only Scratch as a platform, but also general coding principles, which are fundamental in every language. Overall, I think that this book definitely could have been a worthwhile read for educators and students alike. And even though I've been on Scratch for so many years, even I still learn some new cool stuff. Like, did you know that you can directly compare dates in Scratch? Or what about how many of the terms that Scratch uses are related to DJing? The term Scratch itself refers to the act of moving a record back and forth to create cool rhythmic sounds, and remixes, which means building upon another artist's work. These ideas and themes are all paralleled into Scratch. Another cool feature that I didn't even know existed was the old remix tree. Here, you could easily track down the history of remixes for various projects. I can just imagine how cool this would have been to see on a very large project with hundreds if not thousands of remixes. And even though various internet resources like YouTube videos and blog posts have largely made physical Scratch books obsolete, Sam's Teach Yourself Scratch 2.0 in 24 hours is still a great trip down memory lane, and quite nicely visualizes what Scratch was like 10 years ago. But of course, there has still been so much progress for Scratch, namely the community. Now Scratch has over 100 million registered accounts, and is now a great place to make friends and develop amazing games together. I think the large and welcoming community is the main reason that Scratch is now one of the largest platforms for educators and aspiring coders. So, when did you first join Scratch? Have you ever used Scratch 2.0 before? Let me know in the comments. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.